Akbar, third Mughal emperor. Badshah of the Mughal Empire. Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. Badshah of the Mughal Empire. Third Mughal emperor reigned 11 February 1556 to 27 October 1605. Coronation 14th February 1556. Coronation 14th February 1556. Akbar's predecessor was Humayun. Successor was Jahangir. His regent was Bairam Khan. 1556 to 1560. His regent was Bairam Khan. He was born as Jalaluddin Muhammad on 15th October 1542. Sometimes this date is varied. Born on 15th October 1542 in Amarkot, Rajputana, present-day Umarkot, Sindh, Pakistan. In Amarkot, Rajputana, present-day Umarkot, Sindh or Pakistan. Died in 27th October 1605. 1027, and he was aged 63. That time he was aged 63. In 1605, Akbar died. Akbar was born in 1542 and he died in 1605. Fatehpur Sikri, Agra, Mughal Empire, present-day Uttar Pradesh, India. Fatehpur Sikri, Agra, Mughal Empire, present-day Uttar Pradesh, India. Burial November 1605. Akbar's tomb, Sikandra, Agra. Consort Ruqayya Sultan Begum. Wives Mariam Uz Zamani, Zalima Sultan Begum, Qasima Banu Begum, Bibi Daulat Shad, Bakari Begum, Gauhar Nisa Begum. Issue Hasan Mirza, Hussain Mirza, Jahangir, Ghanum Sultan Begum, Murad Mirza, Daniel Mirza, Shakurunisa Begum, Arambanu Begum, Shamsun Nisa Begum, Mahi Begum. Full name Abul Fath Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. Dynasty House of Timur. Father was Humayun. Mother was Hamida Banu Begum. His religion was actually Sunni Islam, but he created a religion called Din-Ilahi. Akbar created a religion called Din-Ilahi. Abul Fath Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, popularly known as Akbar the Great. Akbari Azam, Akbar the Great, otherwise known as Akbari Azam, and also Akbari, the third Mughal emperor, and Akbarai, the third Mughal emperor who reigned from 1556 to 1605. Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent Bairam Khan. His regent was Bairam Khan, who helped the young emperor expand and consolidate Mughal domains in India. A strong personality and a successful general. Akbar was a strong personality and a successful general. Akbar gradually enlarged Mughal Empire. Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent. So, Akbar was a strong personality and he was a successful general. He gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent. So he enlarged his territory, that he did it gradually. He gradually enlarged Mughal Empire to include much of the Indian subcontinent. His power and influence, however, extended over the entire subcontinent because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. His power and influence, however, extended over the entire subcontinent because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. His power and influence extended over the entire subcontinent. This was due to his dominance in military, political, cultural, and economic field. That is, he exercised his power and influence over the entire subcontinent of India because of their dominant economic, cultural, military policies, or due to the dominance of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. To unify vast Mughal state, Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy of conciliating conquered rulers through marriage and diplomacy. Akbar used mainly two policies. One is a policy of conciliating conquered rulers. One is a policy of conciliating conquered rulers through marriage. One policy was through marriage and other was through diplomacy. He used two methods, marriage and diplomacy, to conciliate conquered rulers. To conciliate conquered rulers, he used marriage and diplomacy. Thus, Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire. To preserve peace and order in a religiously and culturally diverse empire, he adopted policies that won him the support of his non-Muslim subjects. And order in a religiously and culturally diverse empire, he adopted policies that won him the support of his non-Muslim subjects. Akbar got the support of non-Muslim subjects. How? He got the support of non-Muslim subjects by adopting certain policies. Thus, he tried to preserve peace and order in a religiously and culturally diverse empire. See, India was a culturally and religiously diverse empire. In India, there were a lot of religions, culture, etc. So, to preserve peace and order in such a diverse empire, which was diverse in religion and culture, he adopted certain policies, and that won him the support of even non-Muslim subjects. Not only Muslims, but also non-Muslim subjects started supporting him. Eschewing tribal bonds and Islamic state identity, Akbar strove to unite far-flung lands of his realm through loyalty. Eschewing tribal bonds and Islamic state identity, eschewing tribal bonds, that is, avoiding tribal bonds and Islamic State identity. Akbar strove to unite far-flung lands of his realm through loyalty expressed through an Indo-Persian culture to himself as an emperor. Akbar tried to unite lands that were far of his realm or his dynasty through loyalty, and he expressed it through an Indo-Persian culture. That is, an Indo-Persian culture. Through that, he tried to unite far-flung lands of his realm. Mughal India developed a strong and stable economy, leading to commercial expansion and greater patronage of culture. Thus, under Akbar, Mughal India or Mughal state developed a strong and stable economy, and it led to commercial expansion and greater patronage of culture. So when an economy becomes stable, it will automatically lead to commercial expansion, and when commercial expansion occurs, culture will also flourish. So a great patronage of culture also developed in Mughal India. Akbar himself was a patron of art and culture. Akbar himself was a patron of art and culture. He was fond of literature and created a library of over 24,000 volumes. He was fond of literature and created a library of over 24,000 volumes written in Sanskrit, Urdu, Persian, Greek, Latin, Arabic, and Kashmiri, staffed by many scholars, translators, artists, calligraphers, scribes, bookbinders, and readers. So, Akbar was fond of literature and created a library of over 24,000 volumes written in Sanskrit, Urdu, Persian, Greek, Latin, Arabic, and Kashmiri, staffed by many scholars, translators, artists, calligraphers, scribes, bookbinders, and readers. He did much of the cataloging himself through three main groupings. Akbar also established the library of Fatehpur Sikri. So the library at Fatehpur Sikri was established by Akbar. Fatehpur Sikri Library. Akbar established library of Fatehpur Sikri exclusively for women, and this Fatehpur Sikri was exclusively for women, and he decreed that schools for the education of both Muslims and Hindus should be established throughout the realm. He also encouraged bookbinding to become a high art. Holy men of many faiths, poets, architects, and artisans adorned his court from all over the world for study and discussion. Akbar's courts at Delhi, Agra, and Fatehpur Sikri became centers of the arts, letters, and learning. Timurid and Perso-Islamic culture began to merge and blend with indigenous Indian elements, and a distinct Indo-Persian culture emerged, characterized by Mughal-style arts, painting, and architecture. Disillusioned with Orthodox Islam and perhaps hoping to bring about religious unity within his empire, Akbar promulgated Din-i-Ilahi, a syncretic creed derived mainly from Islam and Hinduism, as well as some parts of Zoroastrianism and Christianity. So, Akbar promulgated Din-i-Ilahi, a kind of religion which derived its principles from Islam, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, and Christianity. Thus, he disillusioned with Orthodox Islam, hoping to bring about religious unity within his empire. He wanted to unite almost all religions of his empire, so he started having some problem with the Orthodox Islam, and he tried to unite the main principles of Islam, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and he formed Din Ilahi, a kind of syncretic creed or a kind of religion. Akbar's reign significantly influenced the course of Indian history. During his rule, Mughal Empire tripled in size and wealth. So Mughal Empire's wealth and size increased. He created a powerful military system and instituted effective political and social reforms. A powerful military system was, as a result, he created a powerful military system and also instituted effective political and social reforms. So many political and social reforms took place by abolishing the sectarian tax on non-Muslims and appointing them to high civil and military posts. He was the first Mughal ruler to win the trust and loyalty of the native subjects. So he was the first Mughal ruler who gained the support, trust and loyalty of the native subjects, including non-Muslims. Why? Because he abolished sectarian tax on non-Muslims. Earlier, non-Muslims or Hindus, they had to pay a certain kind of tax to the empire, but when during Akbar's time, he abolished the sectarian tax. Thus, he gained support from his native subjects. Not only that, he appointed non-Muslims in high civil and military posts. He had Sanskrit literature translated, participated in native festivals, realizing that a stable empire depended on the cooperation and goodwill of the subjects. Not only that, he translated, he had helped, in his time, lot of Sanskrit literature were translated. He participated in native festivals, that is, festivals that were conducted by non-Muslims. He participated in it because he realized that a stable empire depended on the cooperation and goodwill of his subjects. Realizing that a stable empire depended on the cooperation and goodwill of his subjects. Thus, the foundations for a multicultural empire under Mughal rule were laid during his reign. Akbar was succeeded as emperor by his son Prince Salim, later known as Jahangir. Thus, the foundations for a multicultural empire under the Mughal rule were laid during his reign. Thus, the foundations for a multicultural empire under the Mughal rule were laid during his reign. Akbar was succeeded as emperor by his son Prince Salim. Prince Salim was later known as Jahangir.